There once was a man named Peter. All his life he was a talented painter who dreamt of becoming a famous artist. When he was 18, he got into art school and had the best time of his life. But one day his father sustained a near-fatal injury and became an invalid. Medical bills had swallowed his father's life savings and more, leaving his family in debt. An income had stopped coming into the household, but the bills did not. His younger sister loved to sing and did what she could to help, singing in halls for little pay, but she was still a child and it wasn't enough. And so it was that Peter dropped out of art school and took a job as a travelling salesman to support his family. He still painted when he had the time, but the ever-growing demands of his parents and his boss forced him to work longer hours until he no longer had the time to follow his passion. If it wasn't his parents putting pressure on him for money, it was his boss putting more pressure on him to make more money. To them, he was just a money-making machine. Days, weeks, months and years passed by in a blurry flash as the mundane repetition of his days as a travelling salesman began to take its toll on him. He had become run down and ill, and so had no choice but to take the day off work, to which his parents and his boss were not happy about. While he was at home, he decided to paint. The paintbrush looked so alien to him now, and as it stroked the canvas he realised that he had forgotten how to paint. He was saddened as he felt like he had lost a part of his identity. His creativity was part of what made him human, and now he no longer had it. He decided to go to sleep, but all he could think about were his targets and the money he had lost out on by taking the day off. He finally drifted to sleep, but troubled thoughts gave him nightmares. He was nothing more than a worker. He was nothing more than a travelling salesman with a train to catch early in the morning. He was nothing more than a tool. He was no longer a person. The next morning, Peter awoke from troubled dreams and found himself changed into a monstrous cockroach in his bed. He didn't know what to do, and he could hear his mother calling his name to make sure that he woke up and went to work. She opened the door, and Peter, not yet accustomed to his new body, was unable to spare her the horror that she was about to witness. She ran out screaming, even though she knew it was her son. Not wanting to scare anyone, Peter decided to hide under his bed. He stayed there for weeks, but no one had dared to come back to his room. Eventually Peter lost his job, and he overheard his parents saying that he had to leave. Peter was deeply hurt. He had done so much for these people. He had supported his family in giving up his dreams of becoming an artist for them. He had also devoted all of his time to making his boss a very wealthy man, and this is how he was repaid now that he had served his use. Tired and hungry, Peter fell asleep under his bed. A week later, his mother and sister entered his room and told him that he had to leave. However, Peter did not respond. They prodded him with a walking stick, but there was still no response. They found to their relief that Peter had died. Peter's family quickly moved on from his death, and by now his sister was a woman. She had never given up her passion for singing, and over the years had acquired fame and fortune. She used her wealth to pay off her parents' debts and look after them. She did not meet the same fate as her brother, although she had undergone a transformation of her own. She was successful, and it was because she did what she loved to do. She often wondered what would have happened to Peter if he had stayed at art school. Maybe he too would have become a success when following his passion.